What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Who Gives a Dram? Episode 9, we are here, and we're at another week, and we've gone through a new year, and we made it. We made it through 2020, even though technically I haven't made it yet because I'm recording this before the new year, but that's neither here nor there. My name's Connor. I am your host, and first and foremost, I want to say I hope everybody had a fantastic new year, and it was filled with lots of laughter and whiskey and good times, and hopefully you gave someone a New Year's Eve kiss, but through your mask. Let's not be heathens now. Let's keep our masks on. And I just hope everybody enjoyed it, because we really do enjoy this this time that we're having now with the holidays here, and with the new year coming around. We all, as a human population, we had a tough year this year. We really did. So I'm happy that we're all here celebrating together with whiskey, and we deserve this. 2020 was definitely a very strange year for everybody, but although there were several negatives, there were also several positives. For me personally, I grew professionally in my professional life. I grew as a person. I've learned a lot of things this year about myself and about the world that I would never take back. And but most importantly, I found my passion. I found my niche. I found something that I love to do, that I love to come home every day and do, and that is produce content, and more specifically, produce this podcast. If you guys don't know, I have another podcast with my brother called Life in the Basement at LITB Podcast on Instagram, and that was a passion project of ours last year, and it. We just, none of us had enough time at the time to really do it, even though we were living together and we both lived in the basement. We decided to reinfigure that podcast, or we decided to revive that podcast this year, and that kind of reminded me how much I love producing content and how much I love engaging with people on social media and doing these podcasts and editing and making clips and stuff like that. And then when I found my whiskey passion, it was kind of just a no-brainer. Like, let me combine these two, and let's go all out. Let's try to see what we can do and pursue something that I'm actually very passionate about. And 9 episodes later, however many listeners later, I'm doing it, and whether it's considered successful or not, I'm having a blast doing it. So thank you to everybody who has supported me, who has reached out to me. Thank you to everybody who enjoys the content, who takes the time out of their day to listen to me, to watch me on YouTube, to actually take in consideration what I'm saying about these whiskeys, because I don't know a damn thing about these whiskeys except how I like them and how I can drink them. But I'm trying to learn. Some of it's kind of boring, but I am trying to learn to be more of a connoisseur of sorts. This was the year that I was able to do something that was kind of scary to me, in a way, of going out there and going on my own on a podcast and producing content by myself with no one to bounce ideas off of, with nobody to kind of lead the conversation with. I'm doing it by myself, and literally by myself. There's nobody in this room, just me. And it's it was hard at first, and it still is kind of hard, but it's fun and it's worth it, and it's worth every second that I put into it. So, and the people that make it worth it are the people that are listening, that are supporting, that are going on and giving me good ratings and reviewing and subscribing and downloading. I have a lot of big plans for 2021. A lot of fun ideas, a lot of things I want to pursue, a lot of goals I want to meet. And I'm not going to stop this podcast. There's just no way. I've gotten to the point where my first goal for the podcast was to just reach an audience, to engage with people, and that happened fairly quickly. Then my next goal was to gain a following. Whether how small or large that was, I dedicated myself to my Instagram and to my marketing to grow an audience, and that has, and I think it's been a little over 2 months, and I'm at well over 500 people following me on my Instagram, which might not seem like a lot, but for me, who is a 24-year-old kid talking about whiskey by himself in his apartment every week, it's a pretty big deal. And I've gotten, reached out by many people, and it's fun for me. That was my next goal, was to make it actually fun. It was always fun, but at first it started to feel like, I'm very meticulous, and I'm almost OCD about some things. So I wanted it to be, I'm going to do this day, then this day, and then I have to do this and this, and just a long laundry list of ideas and plans that I had. But now, that I'm kind of in the rhythm of it, and I kind of have a steady base of listeners and people who are going to listen and people who are going to reach out to me regardless, I'm having more fun with it, and I'm just able to kind of get a little more loose, get a little bit more flowy with what I'm doing, and that has allowed me to almost hit my next goal. Was after I gained a following, is to kind of start expanding, and I don't really know what that's going to be yet. I've dabbled with the idea of putting out merch. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but it's definitely a goal for the new year. I really want to invest in some new stuff for my YouTube channel. I want to get actual cameras. Right now, I don't know if you can tell, I'm recording off my iPhone right now, and I'm recording into my Yeti Blue stereo mic, into my MacBook Pro, and then I sync it on iMovie with what I airdrop to my laptop from my iPhone, which is where I'm recording from right now. So it's a very, very easy process, but it's very fun. But I would like to get some sort of, like studio space, and with a better camera, and maybe, do things other than record my podcast on YouTube. Maybe make videos. Maybe, there's so many different things to do with this content creation game that there's literally no idea is out of reach. You can do anything. You just gotta put your mind to it. And for those listening who want to pursue something that they maybe don't think is worth it, or think it's dumb and think they can't succeed, think people won't follow them or hear them, I say, screw that. Do what you love, and if you don't pursue it, at least you can say you tried. I wouldn't care if 2 or 3 people listen to this. I would still do it because I love sitting down and just talking about whiskey, and drinking whiskey, and I like to talk to myself. So it all works out for me in the end. But again, this 2020 has been an incredible year for me. I want to start the podcast out by saying thank you to everybody, by saying that I have a lot of big things coming. To ring in the new year, I should say, I will be joining the Whiskey Philosophy podcast with my buddies Josh and Matt. They run the Whiskey Philosophy podcast. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. They are 2 guys who are old as shit, and I'm gonna come in there. I'm some young gun. I'm gonna come in there, and I'm gonna completely. Who knows what's gonna happen? You have to tune in to hear what's gonna happen, but we're always joking around with each other. We're always ripping on each other. So it's throwing a whiskey and a cigar, and I'll tell you what, it's bound to be a lot of laughs and some good times. So I don't know when the episode's coming out, but we're gonna record next week. So the beginning of January, look out for that Whiskey Philosophy podcast with Josh and Matt. I will be on there. The whiskey collaboration of 2021 is what I'm calling it. Even though they are much larger than me as a show, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. I love those guys, and it's gonna be a good time. So shout out to Josh and Matt. You guys are both old as shit, and Matt, you got to catch some bigger fish. You gotta stop. You gotta stop posting pictures of small fish, dude. But anyways, let's get into the whiskey. I'm excited because it's a whiskey that I've been saving for this particular moment. Although the New Year's already rung past, this is my New Year episode. This is the last episode of 2020 for me. So because the tagline of this episode is going to be bottle kill for a year kill. So I've been waiting to kill this bottle for a while because it's a bourbon that means a lot to me. I'm going to post a picture of my whiskey collection before I got into it and after, or when I just started getting into it, and then like now, which is, I mean, my you can kind of see my collection right here, but it's not a whole lot, but there's definitely over $1,000 worth of whiskey there, which for me, a 24-year-old living by himself, is probably not the smartest investment, but it's tasty. But this bottle has survived the entire time, and it was given to me as a gift, and I thought it was very cool because I never heard of it, and I've kept it to this time, and after I kill this bottle, I'm going to be looking for another bottle. So before that, though, one of the coolest things that Santa got me this year, and sorry if you can't see this if you're listening to it, but if you go onto YouTube, subscribe to Who Gives a Dram, and like my videos and comment on them, I got the Glencairn glass, which I already have, but I got a sweet set from Santa, aka my wonderful mother. Shout out, Mom. I'm going to hold it just like this. Look at that. I know you can't see if you're listening to it, which I apologize, but you should definitely watch the podcast as well. These were one of my favorite gifts this year because I had bought. It's a funny story. My mom bought me these Glencairn glasses, and then she didn't tell me, obviously. And a few days later, I bought a set of 4 Glencairn glasses for myself because I just needed real whiskey glasses. And they came in. My mom didn't know I ordered them, and I guess she kind of freaked out for a little bit, and she tempted returning them to get me something else, but I'm damn happy she didn't, because these glasses right here, I mean, I'm going to keep them in their holder. A nice crystal Glencairn glass. Compliments of my wonderful mother. I don't know if my dad had anything to do with it, but Moose, if you did, thanks. And now to show the bourbon, which I'm sure I've already announced by now. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be posting on Instagram. But if I haven't announced it, this will be a surprise. If I have announced it, you already know what it is. We are going to be killing a bottle of PINHOOK Straight Bourbon Whiskey, which it's called, well, there's actually a lot of cool things about PINHOOK. But PINHOOK is just a whiskey that I got that I thought was very cool. I'm going to put this over here. I like the concept of it. I liked the fact that it had a horse on it. If you know me and my family, we have a horse, so I thought it was just kind of cool. But after diving into PINHOOK and researching them when I got the bottle, I'll put this in the shot here. After researching them after we got the bottle, I found out just really how different they are as a brewery, or I'm sorry, as a distillery. So I wrote down some notes just so I wouldn't mess up. how Pinhook does it is they have different crops of their whiskeys. So instead of blending straight whiskeys to make a flavor profile and a consistent proof, they pick and choose when their whiskey is ready, which results in different flavors. They have different flavor profiles, different proofs, which is why they're never the same, which is why they come out in crops, which I think is just very cool, very different. And I like the fact that they are they're just a straight bourbon whiskey. There's no fiddling around with it. It's however it comes out, they decide on each barrel when it's ready, and then that, when it meets their standards as to what they're trying to produce, that's when it gets produced. And you have to have respect for that. So, again, this is Crop 18. I'll try to put it in the camera here. Crop 18 from the fall of 2018. This particular batch is 95.5 proof, which is 47.75% alcohol. They also, each bottle, or I don't know if each bottle or each batch or each crop is dedicated to a horse that I don't know if it's that they own or that they race or it's just dedicated to a horse. And this horse's name was Bourbon Country, which is the name of this series. It is called Pinhook the Bourbon Country, straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey. I'm sorry, I don't know if it is. Yeah, it's hand bottled in Frankfort, Kentucky. Yeah, so it is straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey. Aged 3 or more years in new charred oak barrels. So this is at least 3 years old. So it's a fairly new whiskey, but there's nothing wrong with that. The horse size was 15.3 hands. If you're a horse person, you know what that means. I don't really know what that means, but I have an idea. The color sex. The color B, which I'm assuming is brown or black, and sex C. I don't know what that means. I don't know if horses have different genders, but could mean just cool as shit. This horse was brown and cool as shit. But we're gonna open this now because and we're gonna kill this bottle. This might be kind of a lot of whiskey. It's fine. There it is. Yep, that's a heavy pour, but that's what we do to celebrate the new year. We're going to keep the cap off. That's what we do to celebrate the new year. We pour heavy pours. Hashtag heavy pour. Hashtag, I wish I was creative enough to come up with something on the spot. Hashtag, heavy dram. I'm trying to think of something that could be cool to come up with dram for a fucking pour. Look at this. That's a lot of whiskey. That's like 2 drams right there. But when you survive the year of the pandemic, you drink whiskey. And that's what we're doing. So real quick, we'll get into a review, see how this is doing. So, the smell. I get fruit. That's really it. I kind of have a stuffy nose right now, so I can't smell that well. So I actually don't get that much of a smell right now because my nose is stuffy. And I couldn't really, I looked on Pinhook's website for their palate and their finish according to the website because, I've come to the decision that if I try to do it myself, it all tastes like oak and vanilla. So I want to try to taste the flavors that I'm supposed to taste, which is why I'd probably be absolute dog shit at blind tastings. Even though my boy Whiskey Sith, shout out to Whiskey Sith on Instagram, he's a great follow. He wants me to do a blind flight with him next time he does it. I'm all for it. If it involves drinking whiskey, I'm in. You don't even have to ask me twice. I'm in. But I don't think I'd be very good. So there's the whiskey. It's got a very, what I would consider a bronze color. It looks great in this glass, by the way. Again, shout out Mom for this great gift, and shout out Santa. Can't really smell shit, but it does smell very sweet and fruity and sugary and good. I mean, obviously, I just killed the bottle. I've had plenty of Pinhook. I know that I really enjoy it, so I'm excited to drink it. Let's get to it. Yeah, it's very good. You can tell it's young because it's got a real bite to it. The way I can tell a bourbon is young is if, like, after you take a sip, it stays for a really long time in the back of your throat. It's almost like you have to, like, burp to get it out. The palate, according to the website, is ripe pear, baked apricot, which leads into toffee, dates, and vanilla bean. Yeah, I don't know a ripe pear. I don't know what that's supposed to taste like. Baked apricot, I guess I have an idea. I don't eat baked apricot. Toffee. I think I've reviewed a whiskey as like a toffee flavor before. Toffee is like a sweeter coffee to me, like a candy coffee. Dates, I don't. When I think of dates, I think of how a Midwinter Night's Dram tasted with like the plum pudding type of feel, like a spicy sugar. And vanilla bean, vanilla. I get vanilla from every bourbon that I drink, so that's nothing new. One sip, everybody knows the rules. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram story I posted on Christmas, but me and my brother always do a shot of Irish whiskey for the past 2 years. We've done it on Christmas morning. I started the first year Proper 12 came out because we were obsessed with it. It's all we wanted to drink, mostly because of Conor McGregor, but it's really all that we wanted to drink. And we brought it to my Nana's house 2 Christmases mornings ago. Took a shot. It was delicious. And we did the same thing last year. This year, we forgot to get Proper 12, but my uncle Big John, shout out to Big John, gave my brother a Christmas gift because he's my brother's godfather. And it was an Irish whiskey. Great gift. My brother loved it. But that was going to be our Irish whiskey for the morning, Christmas morning. And I took a shot of it. At that point, I had about 3 or 4 cups of coffee. It was probably 9 o'clock in the morning. With, I don't know, a handful of Christmas cookies. That's all I had. And I took that shot, and it went down. Actually, no, it wouldn't go down. I had to force it down, and I kind of, like, gagged up a little bit. And and I was so embarrassed. I had my sister specially record it because we were wearing our new, our podcast. I got merch for just for the family of our podcast, Life in the Basement. And I gagged up this whiskey. I told my sister to record because we both wearing the same shirts. I thought it'd be a cool video. I thought I'd post it on my Who Gives a Dram Instagram page. But I still did, because there's one thing that I will not do on this podcast is bullshit. I am honest to the core. And I forgot where I heard this saying from, but somebody said that they never lie because they don't have enough thought capacity to remember the lies that they tell, so they just tell the truth. That's exactly how I think about that, because my mind's always going 100 miles per hour for the most part, and I just don't have time to remember what I lie about, so I just tell the truth, which is why I'm saying I don't know what. Like, I taste oak and vanilla for the most part. But if someone tells me how to taste and what to taste, then I can kind of taste it a little bit more. Like with this, I can definitely smell fruit and like fruit, like sugary, like fruit cake. Like a fruit pie. I don't know. It smells delicious. But like on the taste, I don't get ripe pear. I guess I get toffee a little bit, like dry fruit, I suppose, a little bit similar to a Midwinter Night's Dram. Definitely vanilla, and honey, lots of honey. I get. The finish is supposed to be cinnamon, cedar, and peppercorn. Yeah, don't get peppercorn. I don't get a lot of spiciness on the finish. It's there, like it's present, but it's not spicy. It's just more like, I don't want to say acetone or like chemically, because that would be, I don't want to put it in a negative note because it's not bad, but that's kind of what it is. Um, but regardless, I think for a bourbon, this is, again, this holds a spot to my heart, similar to how Bullet does, similar to Proper 12. I love Pinhook. I'm definitely gonna re up on this bottle and hopefully get some of their other varieties that they carry. I think they carry a cask strength. You can always tell by the color of the wax. Like, that's the orange wax. They have a purple, a green. I think they have a yellow. They have a rye whiskey. I'm gonna try to look for this and get another bottle for myself. If I'm gonna rate this whiskey, based on everything, bottle, color, palate, nose, memories, I mean, this is up there. I'd probably give this Pinhook probably like an 8.4. I don't know how I rate my whiskeys, by the way. My buddies at Whiskey Philosophy Podcast, they do it pretty well because they give you a 1 for if you shouldn't buy it based on the price point, and a 2 for if you should buy it for the price point. Which I think is very easy for those of us who enjoy drinking whiskey but don't necessarily know what we're talking about. You should be able to find Pinhook for like 30 or 40 bucks. So for 30 or 40 bucks for this bottle, I mean, what did I say, 8.4? Yeah. 8.4 is very, very, I mean, that might even be a little low. But I'm going to stick with 8.4 because I said it. If you can find this bottle for $40, definitely scoop it up. And again, this is the Bourbon Country straight bourbon whiskey. This is not any of the other batches. It's the orange top. 30 to 40 bucks you should be able to find this for, and I'd even go up to 50 bucks for this bottle, me personally. But I'm also, I'm at fault for succumbing to my if I have a memories with something, I'll spend money on it. Like, I'll spend. I've paid like $48 for a thing of Bullet once, and I don't know why. It's definitely not even close to that, but it makes me. I like looking at the bottle because it reminds me of back in the day, back where when I first started drinking whiskey. And the same thing with this Pinhook. So 8.4 for Pinhook, a bottle kill to complete 2020. There it is, right there. Hold on a second. Let me get a good picture of this. Get my notes out of the way. My very, very limited notes. There it is. The bottle kill. Make sure you're following me on Instagram if you're not already, at Who Gives a Dram. Email me with any questions. I kind of want to do an episode later of people just asking me questions, and answering some questions for y'all. Shoot me an email, direct message me. There's a link in my Instagram to support the show. It's just a website called Buy Me a Coffee, and I think it's just like you just make a donation. If people are into that and they want to donate to the show, it's definitely all gonna go back into the show, as in, like, I'm gonna either get new gear or I'm gonna do something with it that involves Who Gives a Dram. If you'd like to support, you're more than welcome to do that. I would be very, very, very appreciative of that. But if you don't want to, then don't. I'm not gonna make you do anything. If you're a brand in 2021 who wants to hop on the Who Gives a Dram train, feel free to get in contact with me. We can make something work. Again, early January, I'm going to be on Whiskey Philosophy, so make sure you catch that. We'll both be promoting the episode, and I believe we're going to be doing a bottle giveaway. So make sure you're tuning in to that episode, and make sure you subscribe and rate and review Whiskey Philosophy podcast on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff, and give them a follow on Instagram at Whiskey Philosophy Podcast. But it is time for me to go. It's it's time for me to go do some more stuff before I got to go to bed and go to work tomorrow. But again, guys, I hope everyone had a happy new year. I cannot wait for 2021. I cannot wait to keep doing this. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. And I could not be happier with how this is going. So, as always, Nick Bossy, my brother, is going to play me out. Pretty New Diamond. And yeah, that's going to be it. So again, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll catch up with you guys next week. And until then, make sure you're drinking some whiskey. So thank you guys very much. Take care.
Up in New England, that girl sure loved me. We got together and brought things to life. So I did buy her a pretty new diamond, and asked that sweet woman if she'd be my wife. Kind of feeling love songs are made of. With that sweet woman, spend the rest of my life. Before she came along, I was hurting, but at the end of my tunnel, I saw no light. Broke my heart and I can't keep going. Guess I'll just sit here and get drunk tonight. Vows they meant nothing and she ran to a stranger, and with Johnny Walker I'm passing my time. I asked the Lord, what should I do? But I'm too drunk to hear him tonight. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could cry. Gave me back that pretty new diamond and broke my heart a second time. But I got the last laugh when I pawned off her ring, 'cause I bought me a dime bag and a case of Coors Light. I asked the Lord, what should I do? But I'm too drunk to hear him tonight. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could cry. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could